Hello everybody, this is the Airing It Out podcast. I am Sam and welcome to our series, the 12 Days of Mindfulness-mas, where we are counting down the 12 days to Christmas with new episodes every single day with tips and tricks on how to look after yourself and the people around you during this Christmas series. We hope you enjoy, stay tuned and take care of yourselves. For many of us, Christmas is about being surrounded by our loved ones. When all is said and done, when all the gifts are bought, when all the food is cooked, that seems to be the place that we all come back to. However, unfortunately, that isn't the case for a lot of people. By whatever means and whatever situation, a lot of people don't have their people, or they can't be with their people at Christmas. And so today we're looking at ways for those people how to manage Christmas a little bit better. Not all of us are so lucky, whether it's loss, distance, or having to share families. Having one person there or not being with your whole family, whatever the situation is, it can make a massive difference. So if you're managing being far away from your family, if distance is the problem, then a couple ways that we can help that are, one, we can stay connected. Now more than ever, it is easier to stay connected with people. So wherever it is in this modern world, the likelihood is that you'll have some kind of connection and you'll be able to speak with and in some way better than none, be with and talk to your family or your friends or whoever it is that you want to share Christmas with. You can also try participate in family activities. What is it during the day that your people are doing that you can be a part of from a distance? Now, you might be able to sit and eat dinner with them. That might be a bit of a strange setup, but fuck, who am I to judge? But I'm thinking perhaps when it comes to doing games, you play games with your family. You could, if you've got presents to open, you could open presents with them on a call, on Skype, on Zoom, or a plethora of the different video calling services that we have nowadays. Yeah, use the connection, use what tools we have in the modern world and be with them. When it comes to sharing families, I spoke to a mother this morning who spoke about how the idea of sharing her son with his father terrified her. She hated the idea of having to not spend Christmas with her child, but that is the situation for a lot of people. So what can we do? It's easy to get bitter when that amount of love is involved in a dynamic, then it's easy to get bitter, it's easy to get mean, and it's easy to get petty. So what we can do on the run up to Christmas to remedy that is be honest, have open communication, and we can try and compromise. Now, compromise isn't a lose-lose, but we're trying to focus more on it being a win-win. So you're not going to get exactly what you want, but if you got exactly what you want, the person on the other side of it wouldn't get anything of what they want. So it's about trying to give each other some of what each other wants, but also reminding yourselves that there's someone in the middle of all of that. And the last thing that they want to do at Christmas, particularly if they're a child, they love this time of year, is to see their parents squabble, to argue or to get bitter and to leave a mark and taint Christmas with unpleasantries and poor behaviour. One thing to remind yourself is that just because a person isn't there, they might not be with you, it doesn't mean that they're not with you at all. They are with you in spirit. Now, what do I mean by that? And what I mean is being there in spirit doesn't necessarily have to mean some hairy-fairy kind of... That's not what I'm getting at. Being there in spirit means that you have a strong connection to that person. That's why you want them there at Christmas. But that strong connection is, in essence, being there in spirit, because they are that much a part of you that you want them to be there that much. And it's worth acknowledging and trying to cherish the fact that this person has such a wonderful and profound impact on you, that they have been a part of your life, and unfortunately, while you're not able to be with them today or this holiday season, that you have been with them and you have had them. And that's something that you can hold dear. For those of you that have lost somebody, unfortunately, I'm not able to attest to this one, but I've spoken to a dear friend of mine who's been able to help me gain some kind of insight as to how those who have lost somebody might be able to deal with it. Don't give yourself expectations. You're going to feel the way that you feel. It's easy to say, look back on the past and the fond memories, but if that's going to make the situation worse, then perhaps don't put yourself through that. Don't remind yourself of those wonderful times that you had that might bring up grief and make you realise, oh, well, I don't have that now. Don't give yourself that expectation. Allow yourself to feel how you feel. And ultimately, one of the things that the podcast would always try and pioneer is however you feel is okay. Sometimes you're supposed to feel a certain way, and there's a reason for it. But don't be too hard on yourself. Let yourself feel that way, and realise that it's okay to do so. If looking back on the old times and times that you might have had that person, doesn't sound so good, it might be helpful to you because you might look and think, oh man, that was nice. But for some people, it might be painful. And going back there might, instead of making you feel grateful, it might bring up some old memories and make it more difficult, which is completely fine. But if that's more how you think you might end up, then perhaps not spend too much time looking back at the past, if at all, and realise that what you do have is right now. You have this moment, and you have your people, and you've got a whole another year to look forward to just around the corner. And that year is a year of opportunities. So while the past may not be as bright as the potential of the future, what we can do is we can see where we are now, what we've got, and what we've got to look forward to, which will extend as far as your imagination will let it. Part of being present and accepting what you have now is learning to cherish that. If you see your present situation as a situation that is what it is now, minus somebody, then that's going to be a difficult present to live with. Because if you have lost that person, they're not going to come back. And that is a difficult reality to accept, and everybody has to have their own time, space, and process. But what I'm saying is, you can learn to love and cherish the moment that you have now. Instead of looking through the lens of my life minus this person or these people, it can be, okay, this is what I have. I love this about my life. I love that about my life. I'm going to go and do something which I can enrich my life with, so that my present, my now, is something that I can fall back in love with again. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I was a bit nervous about this episode because I'm in a position where I'm not directly, at least at this point in my life, everything could change tomorrow. I'm not directly affected by these problems, but that is in no way any good reason to think that we shouldn't address them, because this is, as we've mentioned in this series many times before, people's realities. And it sounds silly to say, but people's realities can be very real. And I was nervous because I couldn't personally attest to it. I don't want to sit in front of you and try and give X, Y, and Z if it's just, hyperbole. So I wanted to thank my friend for helping me gain some insight into this episode. But I think now, on this episode, on the 9th episode of the 12 Days of Mindfulness, more than ever, if you're watching this and you can personally relate to something that we've spoken about, please, please, please do get in touch. Do leave a comment. Do find some way of bridging the gap between my lack of experience and your direct experience. Because if somebody is watching this and I might not have hit the mark, I don't want that to be the end of it. I don't want to leave the episode on somewhat of an injustice if you're the one that could help make that better. So if you do know, or you do have some experience, please share, because somebody might be watching who your experiences and your words could make an awful lot of difference to. To get in touch, leave a comment. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be back tomorrow for the 10th episode of 12 Days of Mindfulness-mas. Thank you for joining us. Please do take care of yourself. We love you very dearly, and see you later. So here we are at the end of the episode. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully it means that you didn't get too bored if you lasted this long, so we appreciate you staying. Just a reminder, if you did want to stay in touch with what it is that we're doing, you can follow us on our socials and wherever it is that you're hearing this podcast, whether it be YouTube or Spotify. And if you did want to donate to us and help support us keep doing what we're doing, you can find links to the donation page, which is Buy Me a Coffee, on our website and through our link tree on our socials. Thank you again for tuning in. All of the links can be found in the description, and we sincerely hope that you join us for our next episode. Please take care of yourself, and we'll see you again.